As a more introverted business owner, I haven't always been comfortable on camera. It'll just be you, me, and a small group of people working together to grow your Instagram account. Speaking from experience, I know that it takes time to get comfortable speaking to a camera, talking to a metal and glass piece of equipment. And if this is you, if you're someone who's working on overcoming your fear of being on camera, well, you might not know what to post to your Instagram. And if you don't know what to post, it means you're probably not posting. That's why in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 content ideas for your Instagram account that will get you visibility, engagement, leads, and sales, all without having to show your face. Welcome to my channel. I'm Elise Darma, and I'm here to help you, the busy business owner, grow on Instagram. All right, here are 5 types of content you can post to Instagram, showing face optional. The first content type is sharing a day in the life. So sharing from your perspective, what's an average day? What's your typical routine? Why this type of content works is because even though you're behind the camera, showing your audience your routine and what you do, it still feels personal and intimate. Let me show you an example of what I mean. If you're going to create a day in the life, I really recommend to choose the right music type. The music sets the vibe. That way you don't even have to talk as you're demoing your day. Simply film yourself as you go about your typical routines and find the right music to match your vibe. The second content type is memes and GIFs, 2 of my favorite things to post as a business on Instagram. Yes, as a business, you're allowed to have a sense of humor. The key to making memes or GIFs work is to share a funny take on something relatable in your industry. This type of content works because A, you don't have to share a picture of yourself, but you can still share your personality and your sense of humor. The GIF examples are pulled from pop culture, and I guess I had a notebook phase because I kept finding notebook GIFs and making them work for my industry and my niche. The getting into character one is me making fun of myself because yes, I actually do that kind of thing when I need to show up on camera and warm myself up. And with the meme, I don't post memes as often as GIFs, but what I did there was take a trending meme and I adapted it to my niche to show my audience how my business started and how it's going. For more on creating memes or GIFs for your business, I've already covered this in a separate video. Check it out right over here. The third type of content you can post on Instagram that doesn't require showing your face is a carousel post. A carousel post is an info-packed post that encourages your viewer to swipe through multiple slides because there's so much good information. Why this works is because you can pack a lot of value into one carousel post, and because they're lengthier, up to 10 slides of images or videos, they tend to keep people on your profile longer, which the algorithm tracks, and then it says, this is a good post, I'm gonna show it to more people. Here are some examples of what I mean. In the first example, I have shared 6 story prompts in this carousel post so that you can swipe through and grab ideas whenever you don't know what to share to your stories. Now, this post might look low-ish in terms of its engagement, but from my side, when I look at the insights, it got a ton of saves. So people were saving this post for future reference, which is exactly what I want them to do when it comes to a carousel post like this one. Here's another example. Instead of giving people ideas, what I did was walk them through the steps of how to make a reel. Now, of course, I made this when reels were really new, and so people enjoyed this post a ton. We have a lot of likes, but more importantly, there's a lot of saves behind this post that I can see in my insights. The fourth content idea is to showcase something or someone. What I mean by this is to show off one of your offers, one of your products, or show off one of your clients, ideally a successful client that worked with you. Why this works is because if you offer products, you're able to help someone really visualize and feel in a tangible way what it is that you actually offer. If you're someone who works with clients and you feature a successful client, this really works because A, it's social proof and it shows that you've worked with someone and you've gotten them the results, but B, it's an opportunity for your followers to relate to someone else other than you. So if they can see themselves in your client and they can see that you've helped them, they're going to be a lot more curious and interested to work with you. Here are some examples. In this reel made for a salon, we're seeing a beautiful before and after of a client. So if you're someone who runs a brick and mortar business, I love to see before and afters, whether it's something in the beauty industry or even if it's your customers trying your clothes on. Show your viewers what it's like to be a customer inside of your store as much as possible. This example is from me, where I walk the viewer through my digital product called MemberVault. I highly recommend for people to do this, especially if you're a digital product creator like myself. When the product doesn't feel tangible, it's a digital product, you really want to take people in and show them what's inside so that they can get a sense of what they're actually getting when they sign up. And here's one more example where I put together some video testimonials of my students and clients. I put them together in one snappy video so that if anyone had any doubts about me, whether I was legit or not, they could view this video and my students could vouch for the results they got. We've got one more content type to go, but before we get there, I want to give you a few tips on how you can actually get a little bit more comfortable being on camera. My first tip is to start small. Simply post a photo of yourself. It could be a selfie, it could be something from a brand photo shoot, but post a photo of yourself and then use the caption to actually connect with your audience. Here's an example of mine. This photo was taken quickly after a video shoot, but in the caption, I decided to share the story of when I was on live radio across Canada and I choked on air. This was an easy way to grab a picture of myself, discard the ones I didn't like, choose the one I did like, and then show up as a real person through the story that I shared in my caption. Once you get comfortable with sharing photos of yourself, I then encourage you to try stories. Stories are 15-second videos, and I know it can feel awkward when you're initially talking to your phone, but I really want you to think of talking to your best friend. In fact, you can grab a sticky note and write your best friend's name on the sticky note, put it on your phone, and literally talk to your friend, or print their face out. If you have a colored printer at home, I don't have printers, but if you have a printer, print their face out and put it on your phone and pretend like you're talking to them. I know it feels silly, but the truth is, social media is an outlet for you to reach hundreds and thousands of people. You actually are talking to people, it's just through your phone. So the more you can get comfortable talking to devices like this, the better you'll be. My last tip here is to practice putting yourself out there simply because Instagram is no longer about perfection. It's no longer about filters to hide our imperfections. In fact, there are so many accounts that have blown up on Instagram with millions of followers because the person behind the account is showing up as a real person. People totally appreciate authentic, real, and raw because no one wants to compare themselves to that perfect pedestal which doesn't even exist. I grew up in the 90s, the early 2000s. I remember looking at magazines with perfectly airbrushed models, and I always felt bad about myself because my skin didn't look that clear. Magazines set this unrealistic standard, and social media today is knocking all of that down. Showing up as the real you is the way to connect with people today. All right, the fifth type of content to post on Instagram that doesn't require a face is infographics. Infographics are text-based posts that share things like infographics and cheat sheets. Why this type of post works is because you can share a ton of value through an infographic, and so much so that your followers will be encouraged to save your post for future reference. Here are some examples. This comparison chart of mine is where I wanted to teach my audience what a shiny object was, aka a distraction, and what a non-shiny object was, aka an opportunity. I put this post together because I wanted my audience to know what the difference was because I had a new opportunity coming up for them. See how that can work? This next example is where I gave my audience 6 caption starters. This post got saved and shared a ton because there was so much value in it. And this post really taught me that my audience really wanted done for you captions, which by the way, I now have as a thing. And this example is a play off of another post that went viral, but this time I made it for the entrepreneur in unprecedented times. With these ideas, you can now go forth and create Instagram content that doesn't require you showing your face. But if you're feeling a little inspired, a little adventurous, and you want to show up on camera in the fastest possible way to grow your account today, which is Reels, I have something for you. This shows you my entire Reels process from start to finish so that you can show up on camera with confidence and without any anxiety or overwhelm. Check it out. To ease in revenue, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me today on content types that don't require you to show your face. If you want to keep learning more about this topic, check out this video right here next.